thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, man, we're gonna go over a few things pertaining to Jasmine Crockett running for the Senate. Also, Anton Daniels goes over this whole birthright citizenship ordeal that's been going on in Senate Supreme Court. So we're going to talk about it when he goes over it, but he makes a lot of really good points, and he just goes ham. Like, he just goes on this whole rant, but it's so true. Every word that he says is just facts, bro. And how and it's just really sad, though, because, like, what's going on in America right now, black people don't even realize that they're basically they're at the butt of the joke, bro. That's the crazy part, because really are. Like, when it comes to the Democratic Party, bro, they just play on black people's emotions. They think every black person is, ghetto, or, only relates to rap music, or, it's actually a shame, bro. They run the same playbook, even the black ones, and that's what Brian Maxwell can go over to with Jasmine Crockett, bro. She's running for this Senate seat, bro, and she's already making herself look like a clown, and it's just sad, man, because they always claiming this whole first black, everything is blackity black, right? And it's like, but the representation isn't there, bro. It's just the truth. And it lacks authenticity. Let's be honest. Like, she's not authentic, so I see people like Charlemagne, put her on this pedestal as if she's like, I don't know, like she's this great thing, but really, it's just clown world. Because I know it's a lot of black intelligent women out there, specifically, just speaking on that, who looks at her like a clown, bro. And I just hate the fact that, people feel like they just gotta ride with, any and everything as long as it's black. And that's why, like, don't get me wrong, right? I seen everybody coming at Pearl. I don't know if Pearl has more like a red pill show where she would bring girls home. Not like it's sort of like Fresh and Fit, talks about them type of things, but not like Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit is more like, they more raunchy with it. But, she was talking about, black fatigue and stuff like that. Like, listen, bro, black people in America, we do have, like I say, you can't be naive to the history of black people in America, right? The problem is that it's 2025, and all the things that, you see these people like Jasmine Crockett complain about, it's just not happening, bro. You know what I mean? Like she's acting as if, even the government, even though it's a lot of rhinos in there for sure, Joe Biden is one of them. But even the government today is not the same, bro. It's just not. They want it. I don't know why they want to so bad, but they want to relate to, the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings and the Marcus Garveys and the Fred Hamptons. They want to relate to them so bad. But these are people that really went through black issues. It's not to say that there's no underlying systemic racism going on. There is. But it's not to the degree that, maybe even our parents went through, our grandparents for sure, went through. And that's the frustration part. It's like, we got to get past these things, because right now they're using the very things like civil rights, right? And The civil rights was for black people. Birthright citizenship was for black people, for the slaves when they were free. That's what it was for. That's why it was there. Now they're using it for immigration. They're using civil rights to, let men play in women's sports. It's just, come on, bro. It's getting out of here. And us as black people, we're letting them do it. We're letting them do this clown world stuff, bro. It's crazy, man. But anyway, man, before we start, make sure you like, share, comment, and also subscribe. Matter of fact, you might as well go ahead and do that right now if you're not subscribed. Just hit that subscribe button for me because it costs you nothing. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live, man. Let's get straight into it. I wanted to play, before we start, I want to set the tone for the videos today. And I want to play this small clip. I've played it in the past. I've played it before as for my intro, but I wanted to play this to go over this real quick. It was an interview that, it's just a clip from an interview that Malcolm X had back in the day, talking about white liberals specifically, but this goes for black liberals today, bro, for real.
These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. Being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
That's a fact, bro. And this is what's been going on ever since Lyndon B. Johnson, and before that, but more so since then, because that was when, you started getting the Civil Rights Acts and you started getting, affirmative action and Welfare Act and different things. But these things were presented as if, we're helping. We want to help you. We want to help you, right? But it really was destructive, right? The Welfare Act, we went over this before, but it was dressed up as, we can step in and we can help. I know you're struggling, right? But in order for you to get this welfare, you can't have a man in the home, So it's things like that that broke up the family unit, right? And that's what Malcolm X was talking about when he was talking about the white liberal, which is to me the Democratic Party today, who they all claim to be liberals. I'm conservative. They're liberal, right? Conservatives more stand for, pro-abortion, the family unit, the nuclear family, and, marriage and things like that. Even though marriage is, it's kind of disintegrated today, but Malcolm X let it be known back then. These are people that are smile in your face and then stab you in your back. And that's the Democratic Party. And it's been for decades now. And people need to wake up. The only thing now is they're pushing the Kamala Harris, the Jasmine Crockett. They're pushing these, different people out here and they out here claiming to be for the people, but same thing with Barack Obama. Barack Obama did the same thing. You know what I mean? Was intelligent, well-spoken, black man. He shot the basketball. He smoked the cigarettes. He just looked relatable. You feel what I'm saying? And everybody voted for Obama, bro. I think every black person, for the most part, bro, grows up Democrat because that's what they're, that's what you identify with. You grow up, everybody knows, your family mainly voted Democrat. But if you're logical, you start looking into things yourself, you start realizing that, these people really never cared about us, bro. And now it's even worse because with this illegal immigration thing that's going on, that's been going on, and Trump trying to stop it, now they're using everything that was preserved for black people to give it to illegal immigrants, give it to the LGBTQ community, things like that. And It's getting out of control, bro. Just being honest. But anyway, before we get into more of that type of conversation with my guy Anton Daniels, shout out to him. I think it's the first time we're gonna play him on the show. Dope content creator. Definitely be tapping in with him. Definitely somebody I can relate to for sure. Let's get into this joint with Brian Maxwell and Jasmine Crockett.
All right, now being straight up and down, perfectly honest with y'all, I cannot stand Jasmine Crockett. But I made this video because President Trump and his team, she is already getting it handed to her already.
And hold on, you know another thing real quick. And I just hate the fact, like, bro, I could criticize black people, bro. Like, black people could criticize black people, bro. Like, you a coon, you a house nigga, you this and that. When, oh, you got a smart, intellectual black woman that's representing. No, she's not representing the black people, bro. She's not representing the black people. She's representing the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party, the Democrat Party's interests. She's not representing black people, dog. She never passed no legislation, never did nothing for black people. Same thing with Obama, never did nothing for black people. Like, you know what I mean? Just because somebody's criticizing somebody doesn't mean that this is this is her. Obama, this is him. Speaking on these specific people, individuals. It doesn't mean as a whole that, you know what I mean? Like, bro, people would be killing me. Anyway.
So not only am I going to show you some of the comical things that she's done already since the announcement, I'm going to show you that the lamestream media is actually pushing back against her. Why? Because she's not the one that the Democrats even wanted to run. They were comfortable with Colin Allred, former NFL player, you know, even though he's anti-Trump and anti-MAGA, but he still presents much better, more favorable. So I'm actually happy that he's out of the race. And if you're unfamiliar with him, you're going to see a clip of him where CNN tries to get him to say that he's going to support Jasmine Crockett because he stepped out of the race because she told him to, using the whole black woman shtick. But we're going to get into this. So in case you missed it, this is her campaign announcement video. Check this out.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble. But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man. She's a very low IQ person.
So corny, bro.
Somebody said the other day, she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
You got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Bro, this is their whole shtick. This is all they care about. It's Trump, bro. Like, come on, bro. Shit, like I said, bro. You are better off coming with, first of all, realistic goals. You know what I mean, for the people. If you're gonna, because the reason why I bring up black issues, because she does, right? She always talking about, you know, blackity black stuff. You know what I mean? And everything is black on black. And so, but she'll never do nothing for black folks. She never has done. Trump has done way more for black people than her, Obama, all of them put together. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a joke. Like, bro, they're a joke. You can't tell me that you're going to convince the people to vote for you strictly off going after Donald Trump for, like, what? They don't have nothing, bro. That's what I mean. Where's the solutions? Where's her running on some policies, telling people what she's going to do to, you know, benefit Texas? And, you know, like, can't make it up.
Like, Jasmine Crockett really believes she's like this, you know, on Trump's mind. No, she doesn't even realize she's being clowned on. But that's how arrogant she is. Even her own staff has already said that she's more focused on being a social media star. Her district was booted. She knows that. She said, you know what? How can I get some name recognition? She knows now that the Democrats have not won in Texas in something like 50 years. But yeah, she says they haven't done it the JC way. And in this video, I'm going to show you several reasons why she will not be elected to the Senate in Texas. I mean, just already, when you see these clips, you're going to say, yep, Brian, you're absolutely right. Now, to kick her campaign off, she decided to have a little bit of entertainment. Check this BS out.
Let's get into it. Okay. She ain't never scared and she ain't never been. Who always willing to go toe to toe against the president. I can't wrap my head around someone who votes Republican. She advocate for feeding kids. They protect
Like,
folks
bro.
touching them. Trump invading.
You know what's hilarious is because it's probably a whole bunch of old white people there that don't even listen to rap music. But bro, this is what I'm talking about. Nothing wrong with rap music. I love rap music. She thinks that this is what's going to get her close to the black people. Like, come on, bro. She should know better. She seen Kamala do it. She failed. She seen Hillary Clinton do it. She failed. And then she goes right out and does the very thing that they do, bro. This is what they do. Let me go get a rapper or a Beyonce and get them out here to let the black people know they're on our side. Even though this dude is.
I'm not even going to play that whole crap, but this is literally at her campaign announcement rally. And if you notice, if you watched any clips of it, the camera never shows the crowd. You want to know why? Because hardly anybody was there. The people that were there were her staffers and other paid people to be there. No, the Democrat Party isn't happy that Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate. Matter of fact, they're saying, oh my God. That's why you haven't heard any one of them come out and saying, we're so happy for Jasmine and we're going to stick it to him. Matter of fact, a reporter tried to press AOC about it and she dodged the question and refused to answer it.
Regular.
Is it a risk, though, to nominate more progressive candidates? Like, let's say, Jasmine Crockett, your friend, is considering running for the Texas Senate seat. Is that a risk to have such a candidate like that?
I think it's people want this to be about progressive versus moderate. Every community requires a different kind of candidate. We should be celebrating and uplifting our young people who stand up and raise their hand. And I think trying to diminish this into some progressive versus moderate debate is so silly and small. And I just think that we're bigger than that, and this moment calls for more than that.
But let's get on now. I want you to remember something.
Are so weak.
This is the Jasmine Crockett that came to Washington.
Yo, you know what we need, bro? We need just a regular nigga to run for Senate or anything, bro. The presidency. If Kanye run, I'm voting for Kanye, dog. We need a regular black person. They don't even got to be like a rapper or entertainer. Just a regular black person who understands, like a construction worker or something. We need something like that, bro. These people are so unauthentic, bro. It's ridiculous, bro. They just, so cheesy, dog. Oh my God. It's all theater, bro. It's all stuff. This all this stuff is, bro. It's politics. It's so trash, bro. Hey, they robbing the shit out of us, though. I'll tell you that much.
In my mind, I'm thinking, I just got to Austin, and I had to meet 5 people to get here.
Austin.
I don't know about this.
They don't sound like Jasmine Crockett. I just got to Austin. Oh my gosh, Billy. Bro, that's her. That's the real Jasmine Crockett. And this is why I can't get with her, bro. I can't, bro. My thing is this. And I tell this to my son, right? Because my son, I love my son. I think it's just a black thing, bro. We see the culture. We want to be down, and we want to be cool and be so the street element of thing, it's enticing. It's enticing. But when I tell my son all the time, bro, listen, you're not from the hood, bro. It's okay. You can still be cool. I'm telling you this, bro. I'm from the streets. I done been in it, did all that, right? It's corny. It's just corny. And I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Real niggas respect real niggas. So if you a gamer, whatever it is, a nerd, however you want to call it, right? You still cool because you being you. Be you. Jasmine Crockett isn't being her. She's trying to be what she believes is a typical black woman, which it's not. You know what I mean? She's just trying to relate to the streets.
So y'all don't know what white privilege looks like, but I'm gonna show you a little bit of something.
So you heard that first clip, right? Oh my God, I'm a Valley girl. That's how she speaks in real life. She grew up in a very well-to-do family, went to a K-12 school where the average amount for school each year is around $28,000, went to a very prestigious law school. But the fact is, she went on to CNN with a show with Laura Coates.
Oh, shit. My bad.
The whole thing off with Jasmine Crockett.
Your campaign launch video solely showcases the president insulting you repeatedly. Why did you choose that approach here?
If the president cannot keep my name out of his mouth, then who is it that would be better to make sure that they are in the U.S. Senate to hold him accountable? I am the one that he is afraid of. I am the one that the Republicans fear. They can say that they don't, but my governor cannot stop tweeting about me. And I know that is out of fear. Because honestly, if they really wanted me as the nominee, they would be quiet and just wait and hope to crush me. But they know my strength and they know my ability to reach people that historically have not wanted to participate in politics or had just given up. And that is how we are going to win in the state of Texas.
Your campaign.
Like, I don't understand where she gets this from. No.
Hold on, Brian. Hold on. Because the reason why black people don't participate or don't, get involved with politics is because they know no matter what, you're lying. You're not going to do nothing for me. Because you never did. And this is why we got to wake up as a people and understand that the only person that's going to save you is you. The only person. Nobody's coming to save you. If you're waiting for the white man to come save you, it's going to be a long, long day. You heard? If you waiting on black folks to save you, it's the same thing, bro. These people aren't here to save you. They're here to manipulate you to get your vote. Once they get your vote, then they moving on to, these fake agendas, these new projects that they about to put in play so they can get some money on the back end. All of these people be, worth millions of dollars and then want to come at Trump talking about, oh, he looking out for his millionaire and billionaire friends. When they millionaires themselves, and they make $175,000 a year. Some of them been in Congress, not even a decade, and it's worth $20-30 million, bro. Get out of here, man. These people are straight crooks.
People tweet about you and talk about you because you say some of the most racist, vile, crass, ridiculous things. And, oh, you're a threat. Jasmine Crockett has not passed one piece of legislation in Congress, not in the House, not one. She has done absolutely nothing. She has nothing that she could stand on. What cause has she ever represented for besides anti-Trump? Her Trump derangement is so bad where she says, oh, he talks about all the time. This is the president. He's in front of cameras all day, every day. And the only time President Trump ever even speaks about Crockett is when he's asked about her. But again, this is the Democrat naivete or Democrat delusion. They think they're more important than they really are. Now, Laura Coates don't stop there. Check this clip out where she's going to talk to her about Trump supporters in Texas. And wait till you hear what
I just really wish that, honestly, bro, I really wish that, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and others, especially, that represent, our people, were really for the people. Like, I really wish they were. I really, that would be dope to really have people that's finally in these positions that are actually, building up the community and really tackling the black on black violence and things like that. You never hear them talk about them things. That's real issues in the black community. Like, we need to be figuring out how to tackle the black on black violence. You know what I mean? Because, white people could say, hold on. White people could say, oh, the black fatigue and stuff, and I get it to a degree. But, like, most of the violence isn't against white people. Matter of fact, I'll say 95% of it isn't against white people. It's against each other. That's where so when they talk about crime statistics, it's really black people hurting and killing other black people. But you don't hear AOC talking about them things. You don't hear even like the Al Sharptons, you don't hear the Roland Martins, you don't hear them talking about this. You'll hear them only time you hear these people even acknowledge these type of topics is if somebody else is bringing it up, You know what I mean? Like a Dr. Umar or something like that. When they bring these issues up, or Mike the Rapper, if they bring this stuff up, then they'll talk about it. But other than that, they not out here trying to really tackle black issues. They're not telling black people, yo, listen, welfare is cool, but it's temporary. We need to go get it on our own. You know what I mean? We need to start building our own businesses, building our own lanes, doing our own thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, and this is why like Fred Hampton was a threat. This is why Marcus Garvey and Huey P. Newton and, you know, even Malcolm X and even Martin Luther King, this is why they were threats. But more so, not Martin, because he was more like trying to, you know, integrate with people, which is cool for me. I think it's fine. But, you know, Malcolm and them was talking about doing our own thing, building up our own stuff, our own, like Tulsa, Black Wall Street, bro. We talking about own hospitals, lawyers, doctors, everything. They had everything. Everything during the time when, you know, black people had the worst. You know what I mean? Like, this was during real racism. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, these talking points, they take away from, like, you know, our ancestors' real struggles. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really does, bro. It's just crazy. And that's what I'm saying. Like, today, we don't have none of these things. Just think about that. In Greenwood, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they built everything from the bottom up, bro. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, banks, everything. They had their own everything. And they got burnt down because of hate. They was hating on them because they was doing a thing. And we talking about in the 30s, bro. We ain't even talking about Martin Luther King days. We talking about in the 30s. So don't tell me that, you know, because when they be like, when was it a time in America when America was great? I'm like, bro, it was good then. I mean, not maybe like the, you know, obviously like the whole, you know, the racial, it was very racial and racist and stuff like that. But, you know, they had their own city, their own town, their own everything. They need to go to the white man for nothing. They was growing. They had their own farms, their own oil, their own everything, bro. That's the mindset that they had. You know what I mean? We gonna really build this thing, and they did, and it got lost in history, but it's still there. People still talk about it to this day. But that's the stuff we need to be focused on. But these people like Jasmine Crockett and them, man, I really wish they did talk about real issues and really tackle real issues. But they don't, bro. They just playing politics. But these people are losers.
Jasmine
All
Crockett
of them
had to say.
How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many people that you will fight for them.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, a donation. You hitting that like button is more than enough. It helps get the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way, YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos.
How you make?
So this woman just said in Texas that Trump won by a significant number. What, about 13, 14 points or something like that? He beat Kamala Harris by almost 2 million votes in the state. And we know a lot of those Kamala Harris votes was illegal immigrants, dead people, and all types of good stuff. So, but she said she did what the lady Katie, is her name Katy Perry? Not Katy Perry. Katie Holmes, or the lady out in California who was running for governor, when she was asked by that CBS reporter, hey, you think you need Trump supporters? She said, no.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
Hold on, bro. Look at this lady. She looks like a piece of shit. Just be honest, bro. She looks like a piece of shit, bro. She is the definition of a woman who has a bunch of degrees, no children, 3 cats, and no man. For sure. No man. I could be wrong, though.
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get
Look at the arrogance.
60% of
Look
the
at
vote. You think you'll get 60%?
Why would I need them to win? What are you talking about? What do you mean? Oh my God.
Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote
Look
for you.
at her.
That's what you're
In a general election? Yes.
But she was running in California, where her saying that is a lot more likely. If you're the lone Democrat going against a Republican in California for governor, strong chance that you could win without any Trump supporters.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I wouldn't vote for that. Like, that lady looks creepy, bro. I'm gonna be honest. She looks like she's not going to do nothing, especially if I'm black. I'm just being honest, bro. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure she was in traffic calling a few people, the word for a shower.
Is voting for you. But in Texas, where is more Republicans than there are Democrats, and it is a red state, which they tried to turn purple, she's nuts. But this is the arrogance that she has. So imagine all of the Republicans in Texas that saw this on CNN. You think they're going to be happy about her? But it doesn't stop there. Let's listen to one of her greatest hits, because then I'm going to get into the clip where Jake Tapper confronts her on one of her specific racially charged statements, specifically about people in Texas. But check out this racially charged jargon, which shows why she is such a great candidate for the Republican Party. Listen to this crap.
Director. And frankly, when people sit around and say things like, oh, we're happy because now we feel safe. I don't know who feels safe in this country except for the white supremacists, because I specifically as a black woman definitely don't feel safe. Director.
Now, this woman's worth $9 million, lives in a...
hold on, bro. Let's just be honest, bro. Let's just be honest. She said, I definitely don't feel like she's capping, bro. Come on, let's be honest, bro. Bro, I'm 36. Now, mind you, 2 bids, felon, like... Bro, I've been home 4 years, right? Haven't even been pulled over yet. I go by police all the time. You know what I'm saying? See them in the Wawas and all that stuff. Like, bro, these people ain't worrying about you, bro. They not worrying about it's a lie. And the thing is, bro, I know people personally that's in my life. I'm talking about the disgust that they have for Donald Trump. But they can't back nothing up. And it's because of people like Jasmine Crockett that people are out here gaslit. They're out here with a bunch of hate in their hearts for a man that honestly has done the most for black people. When we're just talking about presidents, we're talking about just individual people who claim that they do things for others. These people, they never do shit for black people, bro. Donald Trump has literally done way more for black people than Obama did, Jasmine Crockett ever did, any of them, bro. These people are just straight garbage, bro.
Really nice condo is in D.C., but throwing in the races as a black woman, I don't feel safe. She's single, no children. Nobody wants to marry anybody with an attitude like that. But she's the biggest race hustler, and you should see it. Black Democrats are destroying Jasmine Crockett online. They're not even supporting her, because she's using race and her being a woman, and it's all anti-Trump. Democrats they think their voters are dumb. They really do. And for the most part, a lot of them are extremely naive and fairly ignorant. And when I say ignorant, that means lacking knowledge. But she don't stop there. See, she thinks the Texas Senate is similar to this. Now, I want you to check out her admission of how her career got started. And you tell me what the name of this is. Then I'm going into the Jake Tapper clip.
Say because you've been gracious, is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. Say because you've been gracious.
So her reasoning for being hired as a public defender was because she's black. And she actually believes that this is what will help her win the Senate in Texas. But I don't think so. Now check out Jake Tapper as he confronts her on.
Like, listen, just from a standpoint of because I'm a black woman, I'm a woman, I'm black, right? Just from that aspect, what are you teaching black children, black women, and black little girls in particular, right? That you have to tell your boss that you got to give me this job because I'm black. What does that mean? What does that prove? Like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? That's not gonna. That's not. How do you like? Are you really gonna teach this to black little girls? I wouldn't teach that to my daughter, bro. I wouldn't teach that to my daughter. Number one, I'd be teaching my daughter like to be a wife, to be, to find a husband. Don't be out here trying to be 35, trying to find a man. Like, nah, that's number one. But if she is, wants to do school and stuff like that, man, listen, bro, my daughter would not have a victim mindset whatsoever, bro. She wouldn't even, I tell my son this, my son 15, I tell him straight up, bro, don't go out here into this world with this victim mindset, bro. It's a losing mentality. Like, take accountability for things you do, period, around the board. Right now, my son doing good in school. He, and I told him, listen, you could do it. If you wasn't capable of doing it, I wouldn't tell you have to do it. You feel me? My son is fully capable, and look, he turned it right on around. Boy, getting good grades. Like, bro, that's the stuff that you tell your kids. Now, the conversation is more deeper than that, but I'm not getting into all that. But this is the type of stuff that I'm telling my son. I want my son to be an entrepreneur, a boss, have a boss mindset. Think about business, think about credit, think about financial freedom. That's the things that I speak on to my son, because these are things that I lacked growing up. These are the things that you gotta, teach your kids, especially as a black man, knowing our history. It's not wrong with knowing our history. I know my history. You know what I'm saying? I know the history of my people. So at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with learning the history to understand how we got to where we at today, right? But to sit here and dwell and keep, telling the people to dwell on the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, like, how is that benefiting black folks? It's not. It's not. Telling black people that, you're not capable of, going to school and taking these same tests that these other, ethnicities are taking. No, we got to lower the standards for you. Tell me how that's making black people better. Like, tell me how, bro. Tell me how you're making, our culture feel comfortable being on welfare and stuff like that. Like, we all grew up on it, but it's like, tell me how that's benefiting us. You know what I'm saying? We still doing the same old. These people don't give a fuck, bro.
On something she said specifically about Latinos in Texas. Check this out. Medicare costs will increase by 10%. That's as much as $215 that's going to be coming out of your Social Security check. And another thing about it is that people are...
Let me ask you about a quote that you've made that has some Democrats worried about your ability to win statewide. In a December 2024 Vanity Fair profile, you talked about, quote, and I'm going to read a lot of the quote just to put it in the context, quote, all the complexities within the Latino community. The immigration thing has always been something that has perplexed me about this community. It's basically like, I fought to get here, but I left y'all where I left y'all, and I want no more y'all to come here. If I wanted to be with y'all, I would stay with y'all, but I don't want y'all coming to my new home. It almost reminds me of what people would talk about when they would talk about kind of like slave mentality and the hate that some slaves would have for themselves. It's almost like a slave mentality that they have. Now, about the time that was published last year, around 1 million Latino voters in Texas were voting for Trump. Do they all have slave mentality?
No, and that's not what that said at all, to be clear. It did not say that every Latino has that type of mentality.
No, but the ones that vote for people who believe in strong or Trump's immigration policies.
So I don't believe that the people that voted for Trump believe in what they're actually getting.
This lady is so full of crap. So first try to say that's not what it says. That's exactly what it said. Now imagine those Hispanic, Latino, I don't even like the word Latino, Hispanic people in Texas that voted for Trump that might not have ever heard about that article that she said that. But they have a slave mentality because they know they fled the country that they were from for a reason, to get away from the riffraff. And they could see, not like ignorant Democrats, they could see that what the Biden administration was letting in was people from prisons, insane asylums, and the worst that those countries had to offer. Why would a nation get rid of their best people, especially when a country that you dislike has opened up their borders? No, you tell everybody, look, I'm going to let you out of this prison, but you got to get out of here or we putting you back. And they go. Hey, you got people that are homeless, people that aren't contributing, get them out, send them over to America and let them suck off America's you know what. And that's exactly what they did. Now, in this clip right here, this is Colin Allred. This is who was running for senator, and he was in the lead on the Democrat side. He was still trailing the Republicans, but he was leading the Democrats, even over Jasmine Crockett. But she convinced him to get out. Now, check out Dana Bash, and she's going to ask him about his support for her and what he has to say. And then I'm gonna show you what the supporter, the Republican Party, the commercial that they've already got out running on Jasmine Crockett, sticking it to her, but not only her, to the Democrat Party as a whole. But check this clip out of Colin Allred.
Back to the Senate race. Assuming Jasmine Crockett runs, there's another prominent candidate, James Tallarico. Are you going to endorse Congresswoman Crockett in the Senate run?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm focused on the 33rd district that I'm hoping to serve, and I'll be making some statements about that down the road. But I can just say that I'm friends with Jasmine. I've known her for some time, and I think it's important that we go into November with a unified party ready to take on Cornyn, Paxton, Hunt, whichever.
Sounds like you want Tallarico to get out.
That's your words, not mine.
Okay.
So that's what Dana Bash wanted to put it as. If he was going to support her, why wouldn't he just say it? If he wanted Tallarico to get out, why wouldn't he just say it? He said, I'm focused on the 33rd district and yada, yada, yada. No, dude, he's smart. He doesn't want to, endorse her. And then Tallarico ends up winning. And now, he's looking like a piece of crap. And that's his home state. So Tallarico wins and you didn't support him. Then that camaraderie of kumbaya is over with, a done deal. Now, check this out right here. This is a great marketing ad. Let me see who put this out so I can share it with you. The GOP just dropped a devastating ad on Texas Senate candidate Jasmine Crockett, and it is brutal. She dared people to find a clip of Democrat invoking violence, and the ad fires back with her own words. You punch, we about to beat you down. And that's just one of the 20 examples they put on the screen. She walked right into it. Boom. Check this out.
I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
Let's extinguish him for good. I will go and take Trump out tonight. We're going to fight it in the courts. And we're going to fight it in the streets.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
We're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire. We're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
By taking behind the gym and beat the hell out of them.
Punch back, kick back, dunk over their heads, and win some fucking power.
Fight back, punch back, and make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down because they deserve it.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching.
We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off and I say, bring it on.
We are not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you out.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we going to punch back, but we're about to beat you down.
And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
When they go low, we kick.
Even in states where Donald Trump won big, that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station.
Just think, though, this is what Donald Trump has turned these people into. This is what he turned them into. Every single one of these Democrats, their main objective, their main focus is Donald J. Trump, bro. That's their main focus. And this is what I'm saying, bro. And this is why I can't rock with the Democratic Party. Because I align with what aligns with my values, my standards, and that's it. The things I stand for as a man, that's what I align with. This doesn't align with anything. They're not talking about nothing. They're not, coming up with nothing at all, bro. This is all it is. And all of this stuff that they was pushing was to try to get Donald Trump whacked. Let's be honest.
You get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And you know what's funny about this is that you heard them spewing all of that crap. But whenever the tables turn on them and the lunatics are circling them, the lunatics are attacking them, you ever notice all of a sudden they want peace? We need to have some peace. We need to take the temperature down whenever something happens to them. But when it's all about going into conservative.
Yo, hold on, bro. I got to look this up, bro. There's no way, bro. Get out of here, bro. Bro, how in the world It says Jasmine Crockett is sudden rising star in the Democratic Party. Her net worth has grown substantially. $2 million home, $1.5 million condo, $1.5 million lake house. God damn, I'm in the wrong business. Oh my God. So they said it says the net worth of U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett is publicly estimated to be between 2 to 9 million as of late 2025, primarily stemming from her prior work as a successful civil rights attorney and her current congressional salary. Get out of here! I don't want to hear it. Look, with an estimated live net worth of around 12 publicly traded assets, according to hold up. But do not necessarily reflect the full market value of all personal assets. Okay, so she got a little portfolio. She got real estate holdings, a legal career, congressional salary. So she got a real estate portfolio of around 5 million. So she into shit. Okay. All right. I ain't gonna hate on her. She into a bag. But damn, $2 million house is crazy.
It's all good. We have to be on a mission, y'all.
Hey, man, I'm in the
If you
wrong
listen to the
business.
rhetoric and you look at the fact that the lamestream media, one of the most frustrating things, if there had to be anything about this, it is listening to the media be so complicit, not push back, spew lies. And you got to ask yourself, what is the upside to y'all destroying the country with these Democrat policies? These anchors on these networks and these people, all of their family members aren't eating off their salary. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that for the most part, most of their families are middle class or lower middle class. So these damages that they do affect everybody. And they're fighting for it. But when Biden's prices was high, it was hitting them too. But they have to act like they just love it and it's not hurting them. At what expense? Is Soros like promising them like, hey, if y'all help this get accomplished, I will make y'all the head of your own propaganda networks? Are they telling Democrats like, hey, if you sell out everybody and you help us destroy the country, we'll make you the king or queen of a province? What are they telling them? Because it is just illogical in my mind why anybody would think hiking up taxes is a great thing. 25, 30 million people in the country undocumented is great. And then to have them fight for these people not to be thrown out. And you know what happens? You and I both know what always happens. The same people that they're saying they want to be here, eventually you're going to start seeing a list of Democrats that are coming up hurt, unalived, and all types of stuff. And guess what's going to happen then? We need to get them out. Obama deported 3 million, and they were, singing and dancing. They were all about deportation until Trump. And this is why their Trump derangement is putting them in a position where even Democrats can't support the stuff there. They're defending drug dealers now. Yep. They defend PDF files. They work with PDF files. They beg for money from PDF files. They want men in women's bathrooms. These folks are insane and deranged. So I just wanted to bring you this video to get a good laugh, let you get a good laugh and see.
Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man. Always bringing it. For sure. Make sure you tap in if you're not tapped in with him. Yo, man. Listen, bro. This segment right here, I love the most, bro. I haven't played Anton Daniels on my show. If I did, it was a small segment somewhere, but I don't be playing him like that. But I love his content. He is somebody that I aspire to be in this space. He's a boss. He's into things that I am studying and looking to get into. This dude represents a black man, bro. Married, ain't with the bull. He give you the game. He ain't a gatekeeper. And more importantly, he ain't I used to be the whole, blackity black thing. I used to be like that. I think we all are at some point, especially when we're younger, because you're told all of these things. So you kind of got this hate in your heart for white people and stuff. And, it just comes from the history. But once you get old, you start, looking at things a little, and you start understanding, these things are holding me back, right? And that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I feel like that's where Anton Daniels is at with it. Like yeah, I'm not naive to the past and things in the history. Like we can speak on that, we can talk about that, because them things are real. Systemic racism was really real. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's still some underlying. There is some systemic racism still there, but not to the degree that like our grandparents went through and things like that. But you know, it's still there, especially in the justice system for sure. And I've witnessed that. I've been through it. You know what I mean? So, but having that you know, that victim mindset, bro, is terrible, bro. And I think that's the thing that's holding us back the most as a people and as a whole, is that like, you know, it's just blame the white. All else fails, blame the white man. But anyway, let's get into the segment with my guy Anton Daniels talking about birthright
The
citizenship.
Supreme Court announced this week it will hear the birthright citizenship case, deciding whether President Trump's executive order to overturn and
Also, I never played his video on my joint. I'm really hoping that it don't knock me out. If it does, we'll go into another story. But hopefully it doesn't. Let's get into it.
automatic and fundamental right here in the United States can move forward. Now, the ruling in this case isn't expected until next summer, but it comes after the president asked the high court to take this up in the wake of a lower courts already ruling that rolling back automatic citizenship for anyone born in this country would be unconstitutional. It is really hard to overstate how monumental and chaotic the demise of this right could be across the country. But it all comes amid ongoing documentation of racial profiling in immigration arrests around the country, rising anti-immigrant rhetoric, and growing concern that this case is part of a larger project to redefine who does and doesn't qualify as American. Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Adriano Espaillat, who represents New York's 13th Congressional District. He's also chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. Congressman, it's great to have you back here on the show. Thanks for coming tonight. So look, some legal observers are already getting out ahead of this and saying that they doubt that this Supreme Court, even as aligned with the president as they have been, it will take such a drastic, transformative step. But at the same time, what do you think it says about where we are? That something that is so plainly written into our Constitution is up for question next year.
It says that the culture wars and the aggressiveness of changing the basic fundamentals of what makes America America are so aggressive right now that anything is up for gamble. Right? People would not be surprised if the Supreme Court ruling that as aggressive as it may seem, they would not be surprised.
You think there's a real risk there?
I think there's a risk with anything that's brought to a partisan Supreme Court right now. An activist Supreme Court that's very much on line with the culture war and the aggressiveness on immigration and who makes up America.
Congressman, I want to read you.
As I was listening to this, where all of these people of color are sitting on a panel discussing birthright citizenship, you know what the first thing that came to my mind was? The first thing that came to my mind was, why didn't Obama do anything about this? I kid you not. That's the first thing that came to my mind was, I wonder why Obama never addressed this. Of all of the things that could have been addressed during his presidency, because we know that he didn't do anything for Black people. And I definitely voted for Obama at that time as a 26-year-old young Black man with a family that expected for you to vote Democrat no matter what. I definitely voted for Obama at the time, two times. Yes, I did. I voted for Obama 2 times, but I didn't vote for Obama because
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Hold on, let him say this part.
Because I thought that he was gonna do anything for Black people. No.
Now I now, you know, that's him, but I believe everybody voted for Obama to some degree. Not saying like ultimately they thought, things were just going to be drastically different for Black people, but I think a lot of people had somewhat hope and Obama kind of changing things, for the people, at least uplifting, and that's just not the case, bro. The agenda is the agenda, bro. To have black folks voting Democrat for 200 years, it's not a secret. It was let it be Johnson, let it be known, and that's they still keeping to that agenda, bro.
I wasn't a blackity black, but I definitely was liberal. Not liberal. I definitely voted Democrat because that's what the expectation was. And he was a black man. And it was the first time that a black man that was well spoken, that was being marketed to us. And then George Bush, on top of that, had completely done a mollywhopping on the economy combined with Clinton before him. And
crazy.
So at that time, I was bitter towards Texas white men. I'm bitter towards a Texas white man that just completely messed up the economy and sold off everything. All white men at that time from Arkansas and Texas, y'all was on my hit list. All white men that was from Arkansas and Texas, Bill Clinton and the Bushes, they were definitely on my hit list, bro. Because I said, ain't nothing good that can come from white people if these are the examples that we got. So I went ahead and rolled with the black man. And boy, did I make a mistake on that one. Instead of finding a better candidate, I went ahead and rolled with the black man that was well-spoken. I said, shit, anything got to be better than what I'm experiencing right now. Anything got to be better than what I'm experiencing right now. But I never had any expectations for him to do anything for black people per se. But I my whole thing, and I think that most people's thing at that time was economic, because everybody was broke. I mean, broke. 08 broke is a different type of broke. Y'all keep talking about y'all broke right now, talking about the threshold for the poverty line is at $140,000 a year. No. You don't know broke. You don't know broke. You don't know broke until you know 08 broke. You don't know broke. So it was the perfect storm. It was the perfect opportunity for them to slip in Obama. And as I hear this, right, in retrospect, right, as I look back at how things played out and what the expectation is and everything, and the only thing that I can ask myself is, now, black people, I don't know what y'all expected them to do, right? Like, you didn't expect for him to, like, create a black hate law like they did the Asian crime bill or the Asian hate bill. You didn't expect for him to give you reparations or anything, right? I mean, what did y'all think that he was ever going to do?
Didn't expect that, right?
But the one thing that he could have done that was symbolic, especially considering that he was considered the deporter-in-chief at that time. The one thing that I think that he should have taken up, that it took a white man from New York, not a black man from Chicago, a white man from New York, to actually address issues pertaining to black people. Trump is the only president that actually spoke to the plight of black people directly. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you've seen Biden say was, "You're not black if you don't vote for me." But Trump actually regularly addressed black people directly. He said, listen, your schools is messed up. Yeah, you need to try something different. Mm-hmm. Now he's revamping the Department of Education. Promises made, promises kept. He said, listen, Trump is the only person that has ever said the word slave.
Hey, yo, he about to go in. And you got to really pay attention to things he's saying, because the problem with our people is we focus on the race part of everything, bro. And that's the reason why I feel like the Democratic Party and all of these Democrat, people of color, whatever you want to call them, black, African American, they all play on the race card. That's it. Vote for me because I'm black. Vote for me because I'm a woman. Vote for me. Don't vote for me because I come to the table bearing education. I come with solution, policy, legislation. Don't vote for me for them things. Vote for me strictly because I am black. Like, bro, this is insane, bro. Like, this is insane, bro. We have really come to a crazy time. Off topic real quick. Like, it is crazy when you really think about it, bro. It is crazy times in America, bro. Like, the stuff, like books, books that they're, putting in Barnes and Nobles and these public libraries for children that aren't children's books. Let's be real. These are propaganda books. It's like they took God out of everything. Like, think about it. They took God out of everything, bro. People don't even talk about God. You know what I mean? Like, for real, for real. I'm not saying, like, I'm talking about, like, from, like, it's not like without YouTube and people actually talking about these things, like, you don't really hear it. You don't really, outside of that, you don't hear it. You know what I mean? At all. So, like, that's, like, the number one thing is that they took God out of everything. But the propaganda is real. But Brian Maxwell made a good point when he said, like, I can't understand, and I feel the same way. I don't understand, why are these people trying to ruin the country? Like, and then you be like, how are they trying to ruin the country? They're not sure. Donald Trump is trying to ruin the country. No, he's not. He's actually trying to save the country. Democrats were trying to ruin the country, and if Kamala Harris would have got put in, it probably would have happened, bro. I'm talking about quickly. Like, quickly. Because it was getting to a point where it was only a matter of time before China or North Korea or one of these countries took the opportunity. It was only a matter of time, bro. In which it was going to have all, drags and out there with guns talking about pew, 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 pew. Like, bro, get this. You can't make this shit up, bro. I can't believe this, bro. I can't believe the times that we're in, bro. I'm not even going to lie, bro. We're in the best times to be black, the best times to be white, the best times to be anything. We're in the best times technologically, and the fact that we're still just harping on race, and we're not. My thing is this: there are so many leaders, like so many influencers, so many people that have influence who could be more like an Anton Daniels, who is married, teaching. Not to have a victim mindset, chase a bag, he got the bag chasers on, and all of that. Like, he teaching real growth for black men and even giving game to women. Like, that's the stuff that we need to be talking about in conversations we need to be having, instead of, everything just, degrading women and, making women feel like they not valuable when they are. Like, the world would be ass without women. What? Listen, ass. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. My bad.
And he said, listen, this was made for slaves. This wasn't even birthright citizenship was a benefit. The 14th Amendment, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, all of that kind of sort of addressed what was happening with the black community at the time. Yep. But he said, listen, this was meant for slaves. This wasn't meant for all of the rest of y'all. So all of y'all, you Venezuelans, Guatemalans, Chinese, Japanese, Jamaicans, you're Jamaican me crazy, Ghana, Somalians, all the rest of y'all come from these shithole countries. And that's exactly what he said. I'm not cursing, I'm quoting. Y'all coming from these shithole countries, and y'all coming over here and taking advantage of what's happening in the United States of America. He said it directly. So if you're going to look at who actually addressing and taking up things that is meaningful to black people, and then I look on MS Now, which used to be MSNBC, and I look at MS Now, and MS Now is sitting there posturing all of these, because they revamped it. Let me tell you how fucked up America is, right? Let me tell you how black people got bamboozled. Because this ain't even a white person thing. White people don't have nothing to do with this part. Y'all so dumb in the culture that y'all let them redefine what colored means. So y'all suffered for the word colored. You couldn't go to the bathrooms. You couldn't go in the same restaurants. You couldn't even go and get no Watts on the pie. You had to go to a certain colored folks fountain And then when things got better, y'all let them hijack the word color. So now they say people of color to apply to anything that's not white. Y'all suffer for nothing. Ancestors will be rolling over in their grave looking at how y'all letting people misappropriate the culture for their own benefit. Think about that for a second. I'm not even a blackity black. I believe in rocking with people just purely off of the content of their character. But if we just gonna really get to it, if we just gonna really address the issues and the elephant in the room, y'all should even be trying to section off what the word people of color mean. That shouldn't even be applicable to anybody else. When I used to check on the job application, when you used to actually have to fill out a real job application back in the day, other was designated for anybody that wasn't white or black. It wasn't colored. Hispanic, all of that type of stuff, that was one category. It was not white or not black. It was not people of color.
They even hijacked the civil rights bill because they're using that for men that playing women's sports. They're using that for the LGBTQ community. Like, they even hijacked that. That was strictly for black people to be able to vote and have certain rights, right? And now they applying that to even immigration, even these immigrants. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, bro. I just don't see how people aren't seeing these things. Like, that, they're seeing the play that's going on. Like, they're blatantly ruining the country. Like, it's because of all these illegal immigrants coming into the country, on top of everything else, all of, you know, these climate bills and all of this stuff, these all this money being funneled through USAID and these NGOs and whatnot. That, like, it's so much of it, so much of that. And then you got, you know, like, bro, it's crazy. Like upwards of 20 million. They said, they like to say the 10, but they saying it could be anywhere between 10 to like 20, 25 million illegal immigrants, bro. That's so many people. And they're all getting, they said like, I think you're going to quote this too. I think they said like 80-something% of Somalians in Minnesota are on welfare. And I showed the chart where it said even legal, and there's probably a lot of them in Somalia. Legal immigrants and illegal immigrants are getting more welfare benefits. They're benefiting more. People that are coming here, whether it's they were born here and their family came here at one point, or people that just came over the border when Biden was just in office. So many illegal and even legal immigrants are here in this country, and they're reaping the benefits of U.S.-born Americans paying taxes. And they're taking our tax dollars and giving it to these people, bro. This is crazy. They're literally selling the country out. How could you vote for that? I don't understand. How could you vote for that? And then you got, that's why I like Jasmine Crockett and Charlamagne and all these people. They're jokes. They're jokes, bro. They don't care about the black community, bro. These are things that especially, hurt the black communities. Because this is where these people go. They go to the black communities. They're not going, like I said before, bro, they're not going to Martha's Vineyard. They're not doing that.
Hispanic, Latino, Asian, or other. None of that shit applied. It was black people, white people, other. Or I choose not to say. And so y'all, the word colored should be, or people of color, honestly, based off of the historical significance of what happened inside of the United States of America, should be designated for only black people. And you should not be then trying to integrate, but you know what happened? It became a money play. NAACP, who don't do nothing for nobody, needed to make sure that they up their recruitment rates. They no different than the UAW. They're no different than the Teamsters Union. All of these black organizations are only looking for contributors. They're looking for people to pay dues. They're looking for people to continue to put in their pockets so that they can maintain power they're not interested in helping you. And what black people are going to have to realize, including for Obama, including for all of these liberal networks like MS Now, you're going to have to realize that at some point, you are nothing more than what white people designated you as back during the Atlantic slave trade. They're just doing it differently now. So I'll give you an example. They looked at you as a come up, capitalistic property. They looked at you as somebody that they can sell, breed, and use to continue to enrich themselves on their own plantations. Let me ask you a question. As all of these other groups, as we've navigated through history, when it came to feminism, when it came to diversity, equity, and inclusion that didn't benefit you any, as you continue to be on a Democratic plantation, how has designating yourself as any of these groups been anything more than using you as a prop? When you have aligned with all of these other groups that are now hijacking birthright citizenship, how has that benefited you? You ain't benefited from welfare. You ain't benefited from feminism. You haven't benefited from Democrats. You haven't benefited liberalism. Oh my God, they hijacked y'all, made y'all sons gay, and then they made y'all start to pair with each other, and then they gave you diseases on top of it. They hijacked your neighborhoods, put drugs inside of it, then made you vote Democrat, promising you something was going to happen as a result of it, saddled you with student loans, ruined your households, used you as a prop. You never benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion. You never benefited from feminism. You didn't benefit from food stamps. You don't benefit from designating yourself as a person of color so that other groups can then benefit from whatever it is that you think that you're going to get. And now you're sitting here fighting for, and I see this black woman on MSNBC sitting there talking about how important it is for you to sit here and advocate for birthright citizenship, which was never supposed to be for any other group in the first place. So when we start to have these conversations, are we really being objective and looking at the truth? Or are y'all sitting here still letting them use you as a pawn while they take advantage of everything that was designated for your ancestors?
And we gon' end that segment with that. Yo, Anton went crazy on that. Like, he was speaking facts though, bro. All facts, bro. They take all of these issues. They hijack all of these issues, these black issues, and they hijacked them, and then they created, and they used it for these other things that they're trying to push across the finish line, like these illegal immigration, trying to get a new voter base because they don't need the black voter base no more. They don't, they try to pander into the black folks, because it ain't gonna work no more. Black people started waking up. Think about it. Listen, bro, these people, all they watch is polls, and they got people that do the analytics and things like that, and they see what's coming. You know what I'm saying? These people aren't dumb, bro. And they knew that their time was running out with this whole, just keep pushing this whole race thing. And that's why, bro, it didn't work. And that's why Donald Trump became the president again. Because, number one, people are like, whoa, I definitely wasn't this broke when Donald Trump was in office. That's number one. And that's I believe the main focus for everybody is affordability. I think that's the number one issue on the table is affordability for everybody. Everybody wants things to be affordable because if everything is affordable, everything else kind of aligns. You know what I'm saying? And then everything else is after that. But all of these issues that they brought to the table was what? Abortion, a woman's right to choose, same thing, and what else? Even when Kamala Harris dropped her little 10-point plan, it was Joe Biden's, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna make it legal for you guys to buy weed or something. It was dumb stuff. It was this stuff that just, we're gonna give everybody, $50,000 to buy their first home. Like, it's all they got is free stuff for you. And it ain't even free because it hurts the economy. It hurts the people. It hurts the taxpayers. Like, it hurts us because we got to go. You still got to go pay taxes. So, yeah, I don't know. I see these people just ruining the country, like, and it's getting worse and worse. But I'm optimistic that Trump is turning it around. And more importantly, bro, we just need to wake up, bro. We need to do better, man, for real. Like, it's like he hit on a lot of points. Anton Daniels hit on a lot of points in that clip. Like, so many points. And the gist of it is, like, bro, how long are we going to be manipulated? How long are we going to keep being bamboozled? You know, like, literally, Malcolm X and them was telling us this back in the 60s, bro. They were telling you back in this. That's why I played the Malcolm X clip in the beginning, because he warned us. He told us about this, you know, and we still, because he's seeing it. He was there. He was on the front lines fighting for real black issues, and he's seen it. He witnessed it firsthand. You know what I mean? So that's all it is. It's people smiling in your face. Yeah, we care about you. Yeah, we love you. We're fighting for you. Boy, they don't care about you. Anyway, let's tap into Matt Moore's TV and talk about this last issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has just issued an absolutely massive $400 million ultimatum, letting every single sanctuary state in the nation know that the days of taxpayer fraud and abuse have officially come to an end. And really, the message is simple. They can either crack down on fraud themselves in their own sanctuary states, or they're going to lose every single federal dollar.
Now, hold on real quick, right? Tell me that doesn't sound like a president who actually cares about the middle class and Americans. He's saying, look, y'all are standing in my way of getting illegal immigrants out of the country so we can, you know, focus on getting things right. And y'all are standing in my way. Y'all are making it hard for me. So you know what? This is what I'm going to do. If y'all don't help me with this issue and make this issue simpler and simplify it, then, you know, we're just going to take away the money. So, hey, sounds like a good plan to me. I like it. All they're going to do is run to the courts and all of this stuff. But honestly, bro, Trump been winning in these Supreme Courts. Like, he been winning a lot of these issues.
Which is the exact ultimatum that the Trump administration just gave to the far-left governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, and his annual $400 million worth of federal tax fraud. Take a look.
$400 million? Okay, and how much of that is going into the Somali community? Has that been institutionalized?
They've weaponized fraud and corruption. Talking with the CMS team that I'm blessed to work with, they say they've never seen anything like this as an abject dereliction of duty. And I think what happened, and just becoming clearer now, is that the Walz administration knew there was a problem. Whistleblowers were saying, this money's being stolen. You gave a great number with autism. I can regale you with a bunch more. But nobody wanted to rock the boat because it turns out Somalians overwhelmingly vote for Democrats. They felt it would look bad for them to go after these people that they knew were guilty. And it was the Somalian community, in fact, that it finally came forward and said enough is enough. And we see people buying luxury cars, shipping money back to our home country, maybe even to terrorist organizations. And it was with that urging we finally found out what was happening. But here's the deal. President Trump's not going to tolerate this. Understandably, no American should want their tax dollars being siphoned off to Somalians living in Minnesota, who then ship it over to Africa or other places where it can be used for purposes that it was not designed. They are taking away the benefits that our most vulnerable desperately need when they steal from autistic children or from homeless people with substance use disorder. So we made a very clear line in the sand. By the end of this month, we need some type of a written plan from Governor Walz's team. Every week we want audits. We're demanding this. And by the end of January, if they have not cleaned up this disaster, this mess, then Governor Walz should start looking for loose change under his couch, because we are going to shut down funding of these programs, the 14 additional programs, besides the one for transportation that for housing that we already shut down.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Like I said, the ultimatum has officially been given. Either shut down the fraud or lose access to almost $500 million of annual federal funding. I don't know about you, but to me personally, that seems like a pretty easy decision. But so really, here's why shutting down all of this fraud is so insanely important. Take a look.
And Sean, here's the thing. These programs were designed for the sickest of the sick, people who are vulnerable. Imagine what happens if you're a child on the autism spectrum, mom and dad are barely keeping things together, and all of a sudden every other kid on the block and every kid in the Somalian community has autism. And all of a sudden, you've got these massive increases in expenditures. You can't get access to care. And now we've got to come in and clean it up. What happens? These kids get hurt. The same for homeless people who desperately need housing short term when they get out of a hospital. What about getting transported to a clinic to get your dialysis? All that's going to go away, Sean, because the Somalian community figured out a way of hacking the system. And then when they weaponized it, nobody was watching. And Sean, this is the part that gets me animated. It's not just in Minnesota. It's the worst that's ever been in Minnesota. But you go to Los Angeles, you've got these ethnic mafia groups that are able to hack into our hospice systems. They're destroying home health care. There are 5 times more durable medical equipment suppliers in Florida than there are McDonald's. We think the Cuban government's involved there. We broke up a $15 billion multinational criminal organization based out of Russia. But again, if they get the money, it doesn't matter. We have to stop the money from leaving the building. And that's what President Trump wants us to do by working across agencies to shut down these scandalous efforts.
And Walz was warned by whistleblowers, and he didn't want to pay attention. He didn't want to alienate a big voting bloc. Dr. Oz, great job, and keep us updated. That's a lot of taxpayer money.
To say the least, that is a lot of money. And keep in mind, we're talking about $400 million per year in just one state, Minnesota alone. So we're not even talking about all of the fraud that's been taking place in some of these other sanctuary states. But now, folks, the Trump administration is actually tackling this entire problem from another angle as well. And I want you all to take a look at that, because between you and me, I think you're going to like this. But first, I do want to say real fast that if you folks enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel, because it really does help a lot. But okay, check this out.
We need a moratorium on immigration from third world countries until we can heal ourselves as a nation, solve our education issues, solve our healthcare issues, our public safety issues, our assimilation issues, our cultural issues. So the 1924 Act is such a good example because we had large-scale immigration from Europe from 1880 to 1920. So in other words, we went from a country that had immigration from part of Europe to immigration from many other parts of Europe. But even other European countries pose enormous stresses on the U.S. system, both economically and in terms of security. There's a lot of crime, a lot of threats to public safety and order, and those were addressed with very strict new immigration quotas. What they don't teach you in school is that from 1920 to 1970, there was negative migration. There was a half century of negative migration. The foreign-born population declined by 40% for half a century. During that same time period, Will, the U.S. population doubled from natural childbirth. That was the cauldron in which a unified shared national identity was formed. They went through a depression together. They went through world wars together. They landed on the moon together. This great period in American history happened at a time when there was negative migration. They don't teach that to our kids in school. And frankly, I would submit very few politicians serving in Congress probably know that.
Really, I think very few people in general know that. But so, folks, let's go ahead and break this down. If you think back to the great American glory days, a lot of people say that's the 1950s and 1960s. Believe it or not, we actually had net negative migration. Imagine that. However, with all of that being said, not everyone in the country is happy with everything that the Trump administration is currently doing right now. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, Ilhan Omar.
This is certainly not what the founding fathers of the American dream were thinking about when they said, that when they set out to write the Constitution.
Yo, we're going to end it with that, bro. These people are so fake, bro. Like, bro, you talking about. She said, this is not what the forefathers, this is not what they had in store for us. You're not even from America, bro. Let's be honest, bro. She's Somali and she loves her Somalian country, and that's it's regular, bro. It's regular. Yeah, it's just so much going on. I just, I'm really like burnt out with this stuff though. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I need to start tagging. I want to get into something else. Like I need to start. I don't know. I think I got to figure out how to, put it together. But I want to start talking about different stuff. I want to get into different topics, mainly on culture though, because that's like the main thing for me. It's like, I kind of I be talking about this stuff because, we really need to get involved with a lot of this stuff. And honestly, we need more representation. Um, you know, we need a lot more representation in the government because that's the only way that things actually are going to change, for people, and things do need to change, but I definitely want to start pivoting to more cultural based stuff because I want to change the mindset, especially because of my story too. I think I might think about that. I've been thinking about it a lot lately these past like 2 months, like how I'm going to do it. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, the politics thing is hot though, and it's important issues that's going on though, and we need to know what's going on. Because a lot of you can't trust the news. They out here lying to us on a regular basis, and they're not to be trusted. Just what it is, And everybody is going to YouTube to get their information and other platforms on social media, man. So shout out there all the content creators out here making it happen, giving people real, true information, bro. Because if not, bro, these people will continue to keep doing what they're doing, bro. And this is going to be social media and YouTube is going to be the reason why things do kind of like tighten up because it's going to get to a point where people are like, nah. But one thing that we need to be more, all Americans, we need to be more like demanding on things that need to be done. You know what I mean? Because these people claim to serve the people. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They claim to serve the people, but they're not serving the people because most of these things be like 90-10, 80-20 issues. So most of America is saying, no, we don't want to deal with, this war over here. Or we don't want to allow immigrants in the country right now or whatever the case may be. Like, we need to start being more like in tune with what decisions are being made, bro, and just not let these people. But I mean, I guess it's how it's ran. But at the same time, like, bro, this is why I voted for Trump, and this is why this is why everybody voted for Trump, and this is why he's the president, is because he is, first of all, he's being transparent, and he's doing the things that he said he's going to do. Promises me, promises kept. That's a fact. You know what I mean? You can't deny that. No, I don't care about what they say, because he said he's going to lower prices on day one. Come on, bro, stop. But he is lowering prices. Like, this is a fact. Like, I go shopping, I know you do too. So I know you see it. It's not drastic, but it's lowering. But, it's so much going on, man. But, we need to tighten up. We need to tighten up, people. Everybody do, and we need to come more together on issues. To be honest, like, because that's like, because if not, it's just going to be basically it's going to be a thing where it's just like, us against them. It's like, come on, bro. Like, you still got the House and the Senate. You still got, both sides represent. You still got the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and both parties represent the people, regardless of all the other stuff. Like, it still represents the people. But when you make it a back and forth, and it's like, it's how are you representing people doing that? It's like you have elections, whatever party wins, then it's like the other party, you just come together on these issues that party is trying to tackle. They won the election, they got the House and Senate, the majority, or whatever, however it lands, whatever party has the majority or has the presidency is the party the other party has to follow and has to get along with and, make things happen with. Because if not, bro, nothing's going to get done, bro. It's going to be a bunch of politics. And meanwhile, while we're out here struggling, they're bitching about things that just like, we don't care about. We just want to get shit done. People really just want to see prices lowered and, you know, things get better. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. But anyway, man, that's the show for today, man. If you like the show, please hit that like button for me. Also, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button for me right now. And hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Yo, I'm about to start, I want to start doing a live. I don't know if it's different or not, but I want to start going live like, you know, my regular live that I do at night, but I want to do like an earlier live where I just like talk to the people. So I'm look for me to start doing that so you can tap in with that. And also, man, if you want to support the channel, man, you can buy your boy a Monster. Got the Venmo in the description box. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.